The Outer Worlds 2 is released in a pre-release state. And I got to be honest, just right off the bat, and I'll get into this in a little bit. I do not like the current trend of major AAA titles doing this pay us more and you get the game a few days earlier than the plebs that are paying the regular 60, 70, 80, whatever price they set it at. I don't like that. I think it's a really bad practice, and it seems to be picking up speed instead of slowing down. And on top of that, they're now giving extra benefits that makes me feels like it makes it a different game experience that benefits the people that spend more to get it a few days earlier, as opposed to the people that are there day one, willing to pay full price for your game, and you're basically bending them over. Pirate Nation on X says, the Outer Worlds 2 pre-release is currently doing worse than Avowed's, which is not a great sign off the bat, but at the same time, it's still pre-release, so things can change. Real Life Fake Wizard says, boo-hoo, Microsoft. It's Capitalism Is Bad simulator tanking. Capitalism Is Bad, published by the richest company in the world. Everyone involved deserves the largest L. I do find the irony impeccable. Like, it is, you could not write a funnier script where the richest company in the entire world, or at least was at some point, Microsoft is still up there, second or third now with Nvidia and everyone else, to be publishing a game as Capitalism Is Bad is just hysterical to me. Now, this is a current look at the Steam charts for the pre-launch. All-time peak, 10,878, and currently 3,841 playing it, which for any game in pre-access, that's actually a pretty decent amount of people, but not when you compare it to Avowed that flopped when it launched. And it does make me wonder if this is going to follow a similar trajectory. Daka Daka says, daily reminder, every single person who made Fallout New Vegas left Obsidian and is now leagues more successful than they are currently. And a lot of the research I've done with Obsidian over the past year and a half with specifically Avowed and the company corporate culture, we'll say, is not pointing to the brightest picture moving forward. But that doesn't mean Outer Worlds 2 is a bad game. It just means that there's a little bit of concern. A little bit. I don't want to overblow it. But Pirate Nation says, Outer Worlds 2 below 40 frames per second on a 4090, which is absurd. A 4090 is super powerful. AAA gaming in 2025. Where's the optimization? And showcases this chart of the performance, which means that most people are going to be getting about 27 frames per second, which, yikes, not great. Victus Thrax says, this explains why The Outer Worlds was never funny, or had any depth of writing, or achieved anything more than just okay out of 10, or why Avowed was worthless garbage, and none of these games had any attractive women. Why you shouldn't have any hope for Outer Worlds 2 for that matter. And showcases a screenshot of the people at the company that are working on this game and the creations of said people. Not to say that ugly people or overweight people or trans people or gay, lesbian people can't make a good character. But I mean, I'm one for picking up on patterns, and it's not looking like something that I would necessarily partake in, but hey, you never know. This is Endymion saying, the Outer Worlds 2's main cast kind of tells me everything I need to know. Thanks. And you got to remember, Endymion was the same person when Sucker Punch debuted, Ghost of Yate. Right out of the gate, he's like, girl boss, I'm out. And I'm like, bro, give it time. You don't know. Maybe. I'm like, no, he was right. He was right with that. So I'm inclined to be like, okay, you know what? He was right with that. Maybe he'll be right with this too. It does make you wonder, especially in line with the diversity. And diversity is just ever so important in every game that's being made. And it makes you wonder, why is that? This comes to us from Jamie Morin, who says, this is in a review for The Outer Worlds 2. Dear video game journalists, when you review a game, review the actual game and not your feelings about the company that published the game. No wonder a lot of these sites are shutting down. Fair games journalism is rare these days. However, in the modern world, it's impossible to divorce these rhetorics from the fact that Obsidian is an Xbox game studio under Microsoft, a company that has perpetually laid off workers and shuttered studios in recent times. Some of the quotes provided by Xbox spokesperson ring similar bells to the corporate talk you can find in The Outer Worlds 2, such as saying that redundancies were made to enhance our efficiency. It does make you wonder. It does make you wonder. Now, is it a biggest deal in the world? No, but it is curious. It is curious. Michael Does Life. This is what you're paying for early access to a $100 game. Outer Worlds 2 lacks so much detail. $100 game, by the way. Let's check it. 9-second clip. No mark on the ground. Zero reaction from the NPC. Literal no movement at all. Staring into space. No mark on the ground again. No movement at all by the NPC. Now, I will say, is it the biggest deal in the world? No. But if you're spending $100 on a game, at least me going into it, I would be like, I don't know. I feel like I'd be expecting some, oh man, this world has really come to life and everything is really reacting. They spent a lot of time and money on everything here. I'm not getting that vibe from it. I'm getting, when I just see this quick clip, straight up Avowed vibes. Remember when they shot the arrow in the air and it just disappeared? It didn't come back down. Yeah, that's the kind of vibe that I'm getting. This is Save You a Click Video Games says, if you bought the Outer World 2 Premium Edition, which costs $99.99, then you can get a perk that gives you a 15% discount at vendors, but 10% less sell value. So you get a perk if you pay for the game early and more to be able to get a 15% discount on vendor prices. I don't know about you guys. Not saying that that's a pay to play kind of game, but it does give me vibes of, hey, if you do pay us more, you might be able to save some time in this game. Just say, and you can play it early. Just saying that I cannot stand this practice. I said this kind of practice needs to stop. It's a massive turnoff for anyone paying full price when premium buyers get extra benefits for the exact same game. MR3D says, then people wonder why games don't work fully on day one. Isn't the Outer Worlds anti-consumer? Offering a discount in the game after spending $100 is wrong. Also, isn't this game single player? Are they worried players wouldn't have enough money? Or is this some kind of reverse psychology at play? This is insane. I do not like the practice that is going on here. And we'll leave it at this. This is the IGN review of The Outer Worlds 2. It says, a sequel that sharpens Obsidian's RPG formula with smarter writing and better combat.
Corporate dystopia is a significant step up from the original, with a story that's more grounded and interesting, significantly more competent combat, and an irresistible RPG grind. I had a blast putting my fist through the Kafkaesque final frontier alongside a cast of memorable companions.
Thus concludes a thoroughly distasteful business.
Even when a weak first act and some truly terrible enemy variety made the going less exciting. Across the more than 65 hours my completionist playthrough took, I fought with my...
By the way, 65 hours is... I've said this before. I don't care. Games are too long. Cut it in half and perfect it. 65 hours feels like padding, or even if it's not padding, it's just too long. It's too long for a game.
itself over moral dilemmas, giggled at absurd world building, and brought several would-be dictators to their knees. That's exactly what the for-profit space doctor ordered.
The Earth Directorate is here to fight for the right of all colonists.
The Outer Worlds 2 is a good old-fashioned single-player open-world RPG in the same vein as Dragon Age, Fallout, and Avowed. As a follow-up to
I don't know if you want to be in the same category as Avowed and Dragon Age right now. Just saying.
2019's The Outer Worlds, and a sorta kinda follow-up to 2010's.
And I want to be clear when I say I feel like it's too long, like it's because there are too many other games I want to play right now. It's hard to dedicate 65 hours into any game right now.
Fallout New Vegas, Obsidian is at it again with a very similar blueprint here. It lays out a new dystopia to shoot your way through as you level up. Grab every piece of loot within reach, and solve all the galaxy's long-standing problems in no time at all. It's not the most novel concept, to be sure, but it's one I love that we simply don't get enough of, and it's pulled off better than the vast majority of recent attempts. This sequel returns to a wonderfully satirical alternate reality where unfettered capitalism has conquered the stars to turn...
This is like such an Obsidian trope now. Like the NPCs don't wander. They're all just standing around.
Majestic celestial bodies into tacky outdoor strip malls. Though it shares the same pessimistic vision for the future, it ditches the first game's halcyon system for a different part of the galaxy called Arcadia, with a fresh batch of planets for you to single-handedly decide the fate of. More prominent than the new planets to explore, though, is a distinct shift in tone. While there's still plenty of goofy jokes and ways to make your trek through corporate-owned space completely absurd, this sequel is much more interested in telling a grounded story, one that focuses squarely on the politics of Arcadia's various factions and repeatedly forces you to make judgment calls on which of these deeply flawed organizations is the lesser evil.
Makes me wonder. I mean, I want to give them the benefit of the doubt that they're not trying to have some sort of hidden agenda when it comes to politics pushed into the game subconsciously. But I'm sorry, a Microsoft-owned studio, I have a hard time just trusting that blindly going into it. But you never know. As far as what I've heard about this game, it sounds to me, at least, if you enjoyed the original Outer Worlds, you're going to love Outer Worlds 2. But that doesn't mean it's across the board universal. And I think it's funny, and I'll leave it at this. This game, IGN rated it an 8. And ironically, IGN rated Dragon Age The Veilguard a 9. So what IGN is telling me as a consumer is Dragon Age The Veilguard is a better game than The Outer Worlds 2. And yes, I'm being facetious because they had a trans person reviewing Dragon Age The Veilguard. But still, it goes to show that these numbers mean nothing. They mean absolutely nothing coming from outlets like this. They find the people to review them that will most likely enjoy the game, and they're going to give it a high score. So I go back to, if the game plays well and there's no glitches and stuff like that, you're probably going to have some fun with it. Not without my hesitations, but at the same time, it's not a game that I'm jumping at, especially with the botched, we're going to launch it, what they say, $80, and then they dropped it to $70 as a favor to people. Like, Microsoft has screwed this up every step along the way. And I don't know. As far as looking at the Steam charts and the amount of people currently playing it right now, it doesn't necessarily bode well for a successful launch when it does come out, but I'll be very curious to see, because 10,878. Let's go to Avowed. All time for Avowed is 19,000. Yeesh. Not great. 99 players currently. We'll see. I'll definitely be watching how this plays out. But for now, we'll leave that one right there.